This normal Fender Telecaster is fitted with the amazing RTO surface mount vibrato, which was installed with absolutely zero modifications. It has great tuning stability, great range, and a beautiful light feel. And we're of course going to get into all of the other details, but before we do, I want you to briefly consider something. The four most iconic guitar designs have to be the Telecaster, the Les Paul, the Stratocaster, and the 335. Each of these instruments brought features to the guitar world that we still consider important today. But only the Stratocaster has a great vibrato, and even 70 years later, there isn't a great modern vibrato that can easily fit the other three guitars. That is until now, because the RTO vibrato has the potential to become a universal system. There is of course a lot to consider in a vibrato bridge, but I think I've narrowed it down to four crucial topics: feel, tuning stability, range, and installation/adjustments. Every vibrato system has its strengths and weaknesses in each category, and every player has a preference here as well. The issue is, most modern vibrato designs require extensive routing, and 3 of the 4 classic guitar designs are completely solid. There are 2 surface mount systems that require little or no routing. The Bigsby is the more popular of the 2. Now, for some players, the Bigsby is the right vibrato, but for others like myself, the Bigsby is too stiff and too lacking in the range category. So long story short, if you want a vibrato with a big range and or a light feel, and you want that on your Les Paul, semi-hollow guitar, or your Telecaster, well, up until now you would have to completely carve out your favorite instrument. You'll notice I talk about the Bigsby vibrato a fair amount in this video, and that's because it was our prior best, easily retrofittable vibrato. And interestingly enough, its inventor, Paul Bigsby, and the inventor of the RTO tremolo, Ray Olson, they have a similar background. They both started in the motorcycle industry and then carried their ingenuity, attention to detail, and rugged designs to the guitar world. The RTO vibrato is made entirely in the United States out of the highest quality metals like aluminum and brass. In fact, as of making this video, Ray still makes every single vibrato by himself in his mad scientist-like workshop. But let's get on to what makes this vibrato great. The reason a Bigsby feels totally different compared to other vibratos is because the Bigsby works with compression and other vibratos work with balancing counter forces. In other words, when you press down on a Bigsby, a spring compresses, which takes more effort. And when you press down on other vibratos, you're actually pulling a spring slightly past a balance point. The RTO vibrato works like this second category of vibratos. As you can see, there are springs on the underside that act as a counterforce, and you can adjust these springs in the rear just like you can adjust a claw arm on a normal 2-point or 6-screw tremolo. And as a result, the RTO tremolo feels as light, delicate, and silky as any other modern vibrato system, and in fact, it feels even lighter to me. As we move on to the category of tuning stability and range, I always like to say that every vibrato has good tuning stability when used for its intended purpose on a guitar that's set up properly. The issue most players have is that they try to make everything behave like a Floyd Rose. Now, I would be lying to you if I said the RTO is as stable as a Floyd Rose, but I will say it is extremely stable and definitely as stable as every other non-locking vibrato that I've tried. Now we're going to talk about installation and adjustments, but we're going to mostly focus on installing strings and adjustments because there's an entirely separate install video with this very guitar that I will link below. But the RTO tremolo basically functions like any other tremolo you've used in the past. The strings go through the rear of the guitar and go underneath these rollers and then over another set of roller saddles. You can of course adjust the arm to make it as tight or loose as you'd like. And then of course we have our normal string height and intonation adjustments on the saddles. And finally we have these two screws in the back that adjust both the pull up range and also the feel of the overall vibrato. So you can make it a bit stiffer or a bit lighter, and you can of course adjust how far you pull back. And I'll just say this, if you've ever installed strings and set up a guitar on any other vibrato system like a Floyd Rose or a Fender 6-screw design, this will be very simple to you and it's very intuitive. In fact, when I recently changed strings on this guitar, I didn't need any type of tutorial or instructions. Now, like I said earlier in the video, every vibrato system has its strengths and weaknesses no matter how expensive or inexpensive the design is. And I'll say that one small drawback that I found with this system is that nothing else on the market feels like it. So if you're someone who's very, very picky about the exact hand position and how you palm you on a guitar, this might not be the perfect vibrato for you, but that's really the only thing I can find if I'm nitpicking. And we should also talk about price because this definitely is not an inexpensive vibrato. I don't want to say the exact price because these things change over time and I want this video to be useful for people in the future. But a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, this is the only vibrato design that I've ever found that can fit this wide range of guitars. Number two, it's made with the most high quality metals and made entirely by hand in the United States. And number three, if you have any technical issues or if you need help with the installation, you'll be talking directly to the inventor when you troubleshoot it. So customer service is going to be really good. So if you've been waiting for the perfect vibrato for a Telecaster, a Les Paul style guitar, or even a hollow body style guitar, check out the RTO Vibrato and more information linked below.